Hello, Sound Engraver here. Welcome back to my channel. It's going to be a short demo today. I'm going to show you how I've been constructing actual chords in SuperCollider. Up until this point, if you've seen any of my other videos, you've seen that I've approached harmony more in an indeterministic way, where I would have a list of scale degrees or modes, degrees of a certain mode, and then have SuperCollider maybe select 3 or 4 members of all those scale degrees. But it's still left to chance, even though there's a bit of consistency in consonants and note relationships, it hasn't been harmony as we've heard harmony as we would hear in popular music or jazz music and the like. So how do we do that? How do we go about composing actual chords for some harmony? Well, I've worked on it in a few ways, and let's go ahead and evaluate our synth here for our chords. And what you had heard just now here, that is an audio file I bounced from Logic, and it is from a MIDI instrument, and it did play middle C, so that is middle C that you hear. And we're going to use that for our template. And by template, I mean semitone relationships. So I have, just for my own personal notes, an array here of starting with 0, going all the way up to 11, and it's pretty much, transposition aside, it's pretty much the scale you see. So C going all the way up to B, all are 12 tones in that scale. And if you were to add 5 semitones, for instance, you would just take 5 semitones from C, which would be F, and that would be one way you would transpose that. And middle C, in the case with MIDI, that value will always be registered in SuperCollider as 60. 60 is middle C. But my sound source is already bounced as an audio file at in the pitch of middle C, so we don't have to worry about that. But to go around that, I will show you one thing you can do if you're just working with sound synthesis. All right, so here's our first P-bind def with a very simple chord progression here. I have the 1 chord, which will be in C. We have C, 4 semitones above C, which is E, 7 semitones above C, which is G, and transposed at nothing at 0, which is C. I just like to keep it nice and lined up like that. Now the same chord, that root position, but transposed up 5 semitones. That is our F chord, our 4 chord here, and transposed up 7 semitones. That is our G chord, and C chord again, run twice. And of course we need to use our handy dandy MIDI ratio method. This is the method we would use to change the rate into pitch relationships. Let's go ahead and run that. All right, pretty straightforward. Now let's play around with one inverted chord. I have the 1, 4, 6, 5, 1 chord here. And we have middle C here. Same as always, except I did add another C. So you'll hear 2 Cs. 1 middle C and 1 the octave above. And then now for our 4 chord, we are starting with our 4th semitone plus 5, which is 4 plus 5, 9 semitones above middle C being A. And then 7 plus 5 is 12, which is C. And 12 plus 5, which is 17, which is the F above. So essentially a 4-6 chord, followed by a root position 5 chord, and also a root position with the higher octave 1 chord. And that is also run twice. And I've added a piece switch here to more or less abbreviate the score if you wanted longer runs of a longer chord progression. So here I have a piece seek as we had seen before, just with new values A, B, C, D. So A will be the C chord, B will be the F chord, so our 1 chord, 4 chord, G chord, 5 chord, and our D is our minor 2 or our D minor chord. 5 plus -3 is 2, which is 2 semitones up. That is D. And then 5 plus 0 is our F, because 5 semitones above middle C. And 5 plus 9, which is A. So I have D as our third value. Remember, this is our 0th value, value 1, 2, 3. So value 3 set here and run twice. So let's go ahead and listen to that. And there you go for some longer sequences. Now, if you don't have an audio file bounced at middle C and just want to work with sound synthesis, maybe you're not even working with MIDI where you're connecting SuperCollider with your digital audio workstation, there is a way to go about that. And I got this from Eli Fieldsteel. He had just streamed another video for his class, and he touched on this with the method MIDI CPS. So here's a pretty rough around the edges sawtooth oscillator. I took this from his video, but he has a much nicer sound than mine, but it gets the job done. So let's go ahead and play it. And well, let's start at 60, which is our middle C. And this gate tells SuperCollider to set the synth at the release value. So once I hit 0 here, it will have switched to the release, thus the synth freeing itself. So anyway, digression aside, yes, that was middle C. Now let's go an octave above. Maybe an octave below. And now, using the method collect, we can establish an array of chords here. 60 being C, 64 being E, 67 being G, and 70, 10 semitones up, is B flat, so a nice C7 chord. Adding a note argument and also an index for here to release each note of the chord in succession. And we should be fine. So we have our freq argument, which is defaulted at 500 Hertz, but now we're not doing Hertz. Now we are actually setting it to a MIDI value. So let's go ahead and hear it. And there you go. That is our way, or a couple of ways, or maybe a few ways of constructing chords, actual chords for actual harmony. So if you wanted a more cut and dry, not so much an indeterministic approach to harmony, these are a couple of approaches in constructing chords in SuperCollider, and I really hope to use this and utilize this and get better at this for maybe some live performance someday. I'm really wanting to get into the music scene with SuperCollider, and so maybe using chords in this manner will work, will be effective, or maybe not. And if I have something better to show you, of course I will. So yes, that is everything in a nutshell on how to construct chords. Thank you always for watching and listening, and always be on the lookout for some more sound experimentation every Thursday. I will see you next time, and thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.